Does your health insurance cover hearing aids? Did your health insurance coverage just get a lot worse? Are you sure what questions you should be asking in order to determine if your health insurance really has coverage or not? These are some of the major issues we deal with in my clinic every day. Let's talk about them. Welcome back to You Heard It Here with Dr. Gary. I'm Gary, a clinical audiologist and part of the ownership team with Advanced Hearing Group in Scottsdale, Arizona. We are a primarily insurance-based clinic. What does that mean? Basically, that means that we actually look at your health insurance and help you determine, do you have coverage for hearing health care, both diagnostic testing and treatment? Is that coverage a true money exchange where your health insurance pays the provider or your health insurance directly reimburses the patient? Or is that health insurance through a third party or managed care? Managed care companies such as United Healthcare Hearing, Epic, True Hearing, there's really a ton of them. They do a great job at being that middleman. They get in the middle between your healthcare provider and your insurance company. Most people think that this saves them time, money, and gives them better options. But does it really? Dr. Cliff Olson, great influencer and a wonderful audiologist in the Phoenix metro area, recently put out a video. And that video talks about how some of these larger hearing aid manufacturers, specifically Oticon, has decided that they may not be putting their flagship models on the platforms for third parties anymore, or for managed care anymore. Now, as he points out in the video, which I'll put a link to in the description below, because he did a much better job than I could do at outlining the way these two companies, William Demont and United Healthcare, are kind of playing chicken with one another. I'm not going to get into that. I'll let him handle that. So check out the link for the video in the description below. Long and the short of it is, as these companies have different products not put on their platforms, it limits the options that patients will have. By limiting the options that patients will have, it really does reduce the effectiveness of care. Now, I'm not saying Oticon hearing aids or Phonak hearing aids or Starkey hearing aids or Resound hearing aids are the best hearing aids, and that's the only one that's out there, because there are lots of different manufacturers that have wonderful products. I am saying that when you start limiting a patient's options and you start limiting a provider's options to give the patient what is best for their hearing loss, the quality of care is going to go down. In addition, these third parties are actually getting in the middle of diagnostic work. Now, what these third parties are designed for is to generate hearing aid sales through the third party. They pay the provider a discounted fee, and in theory, they give a discounted price to the patient. We'll get into that in a minute. But let's talk about the diagnostics first, because one of the most alarming things that I'm seeing in the hearing healthcare industry, in my opinion, even more alarming than third parties getting involved in hearing aid sales, is the way they're trying to get involved in diagnostics. Let me give you an example. A patient comes in after talking to their third party. The third party was given to them by their health insurance company. So the patient feels that they're talking to a representative of their health insurance. This is not true. These third parties are very different companies. They do not get involved in health insurance matters. They take the referral from the health insurance, try to get you to use one of the third party's providers who accepts that third party and will buy the hearing aids through them if you need them. But here's where it becomes problematic. These third parties are telling patients that they have a no-cost hearing test. Now, in the contract with their health insurance company, these third-party providers do provide hearing tests, but it's the bare bones minimum. It's exactly what is needed to fit a patient with a hearing aid. That does not mean it is a complete diagnostic evaluation. Let's talk about things that they rarely cover. Now I say rarely because of course someone will put in the comment section that my plan XYZ actually covers that. So I'm going to talk in generalities here. These third parties do not cover full diagnostic evaluations. Simple things, looking in the ears, removing earwax, testing for eardrum or TM mobility, testing the pressure of the middle ear, acoustic reflexes, are they present? Most of the time, none of those diagnostic procedures are actually covered. That means that they would be services that would need to be billed to your health insurance. If the services are billed to your health insurance, things like your co-pays will apply. So that means when they told the patient that they had a free hearing test, they told them a selective truth. Yes, the hearing test to be fit with hearing aids is covered. However, a full diagnostic test is not covered. Additional services such as wax removal or checking the health status of the middle ear are not included. So it is not truly a free hearing test. And also, let's be honest, nothing in life is free. Really what they're doing is they're bundling it into the cost of the hearing aids. So, my biggest concern with these third parties is that they're getting involved in diagnostics, meaning patients who may not even need hearing aids are coming in under the guise of these third-party rules where they're told that everything's going to be free, and it's just not happening. Okay, so now that we've gone through the diagnostics, I'll get off my soapbox. Clearly it's a passionate issue of mine. Let's talk about what happens when you do actually need a hearing aid with these third parties. First of all, they do limit which manufacturers I or other providers are able to select from. Second, they do limit the amount of visits and or service that you have on the back end. Make sure you know your contract. For instance, many of these plans allow 2 and or 3 visits post-fitting with a hearing aid or 1 year's worth of service, whichever comes first. After that, you're charged per visit. So if you were going to an office that offers a lifetime of cleanings and adjustments when you buy hearing aids directly from them, it may actually be less expensive for you to buy the hearing aid direct from the office than to utilize the third-party coverage. Because most of these third parties are not actual coverages. They're a discount program, meaning they basically take the price of the hearing aids, they discount them down, but they also provide you with discounted service. Again, they're not all bad and not all situations are going to work out this way. But you do need to be aware, many of these hearing healthcare providers that deal with these third parties are bound by the third-party contracts, which means if they're told they have to offer 3 visits or 5 visits or 1 year's worth of service, after that, you will be paying every time you walk through the door. Another thing to note, these third parties have been doing a great job of lowering costs to patients up front, but they're also lowering reimbursements to providers on the back end, which means these networks are actually getting a little bit smaller each and every year. Patients who used to see provider X can no longer see that provider because they don't participate with True Hearing or Epic or United Healthcare Hearing. Take your pick. Basically, understand the third parties do have their place. However, if you think that by using a third party you're getting everything for free and there's not going to be any adjustment to services or things like that, it's just not true. So yes, on paper you may have more coverage, but that coverage may actually be less valuable than you think. Take it from me, a provider who utilizes both third parties and direct reimbursement from insurance. Anytime a patient has direct reimbursement, either to themselves or to us as providers, they end up in a better situation long term than those patients who are utilizing third parties. I know this may not be a popular opinion, but as an audiology community, we do need to make sure that we are billing for our services, letting the insurance companies know what goes into the care that we provide for patients. If we don't, services will continue to be taken off our fee schedule. As part of You Heard It Here with Dr. Gary, going forward, what I'm going to be doing is some business consulting and continuing, of course, with my wax removal videos, which I'll put a link to the description below. People seem to love those. But in these consulting services, I'm going to talk about how to grow a business and utilize insurance coverage and understand what insurances really do and don't cover and how you can actually grow a business and help patients get the best coverage that they can get. This has been You Heard It Here with Dr. Gary. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.